Okay, this is General Revision Booklet 3. These are all numeracy style questions. This is a calculator paper, so basically use your calculator as much as possible. Okay, question 1. You'll be assessed on the quality of written communication in this question. So this is an OCW question. So that means you'll get marks for your organisation. So OCW is organisation, communication and written. So organise your work, make sure it's in a structured order, don't put it all over the place. Communicate what you're doing, so make sure you tell the examiner where your numbers are coming from. And written, that means you've got to put, your units correctly. Are you using centimetres, are you using metres, are you using pounds, are you using pence? You've got to explain what you're doing. Okay, so let's read the question. Eleanor plans to sell cups of juice at a disco. She buys 8 bottles of juice. Each bottle holds 3 litres and costs £3.65 per bottle. The total cost of the plastic cup she uses is £2.50. Each plastic cup is filled with 250 millilitres of juice and is sold for 75 pence. Eleanor sells all the juice that she has brought. How much profit does she make? So this is a very simple question. So I'm going to start by telling the examiner I'm going to work out the cost of buying the bottles. So I'm going to label that. So she had 8 bottles and they were £3.65 each. Use your calculator, you don't need to stress yourself without working that out, which is £29.20. See how I'm using my pound signs? Make sure you're consistent. So that's how much she spends on bottles. She also has to pay for cups. So cost of cups, and it does say that there's a total cost. So that means they're not £2.50 per cup. That'd be ridiculous. So £2.50 plastic cups are really cheap. So the total cost of her, making this business of selling juice, all we need to do is add our £29.20 and £2.50 to get £31.70. So it costs her £31.70 to make this small little business. Now we want to see how many cups she's selling. So in order to find out how many cups she's selling, we know she has 8 bottles. They hold 3 litres. So let's find out how many litres she has in total, because she only pours 250 millilitres in each cup. So let's label this amount of cups. Okay, so we've got total amount of litres that she has. So let's put total amount of litres. So she has 8 bottles times 3 litres. That gives her 24 litres. So 24 litres is going to be 24,000 millilitres, because this 250 is in millilitres. So I'm just converting that into millilitres just to make my life a little bit easier. So the number of cups she sells, is going to be that 24,000 divided by our 250, because she's got 24,000 and each one holds 250. All you need to do is divide those two to get how many cups she sells, and she sells 96 cups. So she sells them for 75p. So let's put profit of selling cups. So she's got 96 cups. We'll times. I'm not going to put 75p. I'm not going to put 75p because I've used pounds everywhere else. So I'm going to convert that back into pounds. So I know 75p is 0.75 pounds. Because I've used pounds everywhere else, I'm going to keep to pounds. You don't have to. You could put 75p. Just your answer is going to be in pence. So don't forget to turn that back into pounds, because you're working with pounds up with 31.70. So that's £72. So I just do 96 times 0.75. So total profit. So if she's made £72, but it cost her cost her £31.70. Just need to take those away. So she's made a profit of £40 and 30p. That's not bad for just buying a couple of bottles and filling the cups. Okay, so it's all structured. I know my handwriting is not the neatest, but it doesn't matter. So it's all structured. I've told the examiner what all my numbers mean. So I haven't put any numbers that are dubious, that they don't know where that's come from. And I put pound signs everywhere. I've put bottles, I've put litres. So I would get my OCW marks from that. This is also, if you notice on the bottom, it's from an F. So that means it's from a foundation paper. So you need to be able to do that. Okay, question 2. Calculate 854.7 over 43.2, take away 37.6 cubed, giving your answer correct to 3 significant figures. Now you could do this step by step. You could just bung it all in your calculator. It's completely up to you. I just stuck it all in my calculator and got 4.866866. I think I've done that a bit wrong, but it's something like that anyway. And it wants it 3 significant figures. That means the first 3 numbers that start with non-zero, so 1, 2, 3, so I'm cutting it here. So that's just 4.87. You could have just worked at the bottom and then put it back in. You could have done it whichever way you want. It's just easy if you just stuck it all in your calculator. Okay, in a game, it's possible for each player to score between 1 and 10 points. Lois and Becca play the game 5 times. The table below shows the points scored by Lois in each game. So in game 1 she scored 5, etc. You can read that. Becca had a higher mean score than Lois. Becca had a lower median score than Lois. Becca has a lower range score than Lois. Okay, so you could probably have a couple of different answers for this one. So as long as you satisfy all 3 rules, your numbers will be fine. Because there's 3 marks, you'll probably get 1 mark for each rule satisfied. Complete the table above a set of possible numbers gained. Okay, so I'm just going to work out Lois's first. So Lois's, because we've got a mean first, so I'm going to put Lois's mean. So to work out the mean, we add them all up, and then we divide, brackets. So we divide by how many are there? So they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we get 4.2. So Becca's a higher mean, so they've got to basically be more than, what do they add up to? 21. They've got to add up to more than 21, basically. I'm just going to put that there to remind myself. So Lois's median, because you still got 5 numbers for that, sorry. So Lois's median, don't forget this, you've got to order them from smallest to biggest. So it goes 1, 2, 5, 5, 8, cross them off until you get the middle one. So 5. Becca has a lower median score, so her middle number has to be less than 5. Lois's range. Range is your biggest, take away your smallest, so 8 take away 1 is 7. Becca has a lower range than Lois, so her big number, take away its 1 number, has to be less than 7. So I'm going to start with probably my median, so because it's just an easy number to start with. Don't forget we can have between 1 and 10. I think we can include 1 and 10, can't we? Yes, we can have between 1 and 10. So her median has to be lower than 5. So for number less than 5, I'm going to just pick 4. So 4, I'm going to put in the middle. Now her range has to be less than 7. So when I do a big number, take away a little number, I've got to have 7. So if I chose less than 7. So if I chose 10, this number over here would have to be 4, because 10 take away 4 is 6. And that gives it me less than 7. I could pick 9, and 9 take away 1 would be 8, so can't have that's higher. 9 take away 2 is 7, that's going to be the same. So 9 take away 3, it would have to be 3 or more. It could be 4, could be 5, but it can't be 5 because our middle number is 4. I'm going to choose, what do they got to add up to? They've got to add up to more than 21, so we got 4, 8, 18, so it needs me 3 more. I'm gonna, well, you can have any numbers, can't we? I'm gonna pick, you could have lots of different numbers, so I'm gonna pick 9 and 3, and so that's satisfied this rule, satisfied this rule. So I just got to make sure they add up to more than 21, so I can pick I'm going to pick high numbers, just so they're bigger than 21. I need a number between 3 and 4 in this box, so I'm just going to go with 4 again. Doesn't say you can't have the same number. For this box, I'm just going to go with 8. You could have had 7, you could have had 9, you could have had lots of different numbers there. So I'm just going to make sure that I've done that right by just calculating the mean, median and range. So Becca, now with the numbers I've used, I'm just going to get rid of these bottom ones so I don't confuse myself. So Becca's mean, so if I do 3, add 4, add 4, add 8, add 9, and then divide that by 5, I get 5.6. I need that to be higher. She's got higher mean, so yep, that's higher. So Becca's middle number, we already know that that's 4, because I've already put them in order and it's in the middle. I chose that. Is that less than 5? Yep, satisfied that rule. Becca's, what are we doing now? Range. So the biggest one is 9, take away 3, that's 6. She's got to have a lower score than, lower range than lowest, so yes. So I've done that right. You could have had probably quite a lot of different numbers for that. Just double check that they satisfy all the rules. Okay, question 4. A cake shop has 3 types of boxes. Box A can hold exactly 15 small cakes. Box B can hold exactly 20 small cakes. Box C can hold exactly 25 small cakes. At the moment, the shop only has 5 boxes of each type. Okay. The owner wants to pack 170 small cakes into boxes. She does not want empty spaces in any box. Show how this can be done in 2 different ways. Oh, jeez. Okay, I'm just going to split this in 2, so because otherwise I'll use too much space. Right, so we're going to make 170. Oh, this would just be, I would literally pick up my calculator and do some trial and error. What's jumping out at me, the first one, is if I had, so this is my first option, I could have 3 lots of box C, so 3 times 25 is, oh, not box C, box A. I have 3 lots of box A, so 3 lots of 15, that's 45. And then I just need 5 lots of 25, don't I? So 5 boxes of C. Oh, I got confused between A and C now. So that's 125, and if I add those up, that's 170. This is a trial and improvement, so literally just pick up a calculator, play around. Might take some longer than the other, some will jump out too. Different way. I'm going to use some of box B now, I think. So if I have 60, I mean, what do I need then? 110. Okay, so if I do 4 boxes of A, so 4 lots of 15 is 60. 3 boxes of B, so 3 20s is 60 again, so that's 120. Just need an extra 50, and luckily 25 and 25. So 2 boxes of C. I'd probably do this with a pencil if I was doing it, which is 170. Okay. If there were lots of boxes of each size, what's the least number of boxes needed to pack 170 cakes with no empty spaces? Well, you'd clearly want the biggest one, so I'd want to do as much as C as possible. So how many 25s until I can get 170, and then I need either 15 or 20 left over. So 6 boxes would give me 150, and then I would just need 1 box of B. So if I do 6 boxes of box C gives me 150, because 6 times 25 is 150. And then I just need 1 times box B, which is 20, so that's 170. That's a horrible 7. So obviously you pick the biggest one. See how many 25s go into 170? It'd be 6 points something. Take that away now. Okay. Question 5. Okay, so this is an exchange question. So don't forget, if we're going pounds into a different currency, we're times in. If we're going different currency back into pounds, we would divide. So before departing, he exchanged. Oh, where are we going? Norway. He exchanged £520 into Norwegian krona. Krona? I don't know. The exchange rate was £1 to 10.25 krona. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. How many krona did Rashid receive? Okay, so we go in pounds into a different currency. So I want to times. So I'm doing £520 and the exchange rate is 10.25. So that's all I need to do, which is 5, 3, 3. Oh, I can't quite tell if there's a dot on my calculator. Hang on. Let me do it again. White screen. No, it's not. Okay, so 5,330 kronas. Kronas? I don't know. Before departing, he also paid £42.50 for a lake cruise. Lovely. In Norway. This tour would cost him 358.75 kronas if he paid for it in Norway. Using the exchange rate, calculate the difference in pounds between these two prices. So you want to convert them both into pounds. So we've got our £142.50. We just need to change 358.75 kronas. I don't know. Back into pounds. Remember, different currency, back into pounds. We divide by the exchange rate. So divide by 10.25, and I get £35. So the difference is going to be £42.50. Take away £35. So there's a difference. He saved him. Oh no, he didn't save himself. So it would have been £7. Did he buy it in pounds? Oh no, he didn't. He bought it in krona. So he didn't save himself money. So he should have waited until he got to Norway. Okay, question 6. Angles can be measured in radians or grades, as well as in degrees. The table gives 3 angles. They are measured in radians and in grads. Grades would be an E, wouldn't it? Grads. I should know that. Use the data in the table to draw a conversion graph between radians and grads. Okay, just plot your points. Make sure you know what each one is. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's going up in 0.5s. This one will be going. That's 3. Oh gosh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 100. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 300. So you can see which ones is going up in there. It's going up in 20s. Right, first one. 4, 255. Gosh, 4, 250. Oh, this is not going to be accurate at all. I'm going to say about there. Next one is 15,955. Oh, luckily 15 is lovely. 9 is this, so 955 is probably about there. Probably not. It's probably a bit down. 21,1337. 21. So that's 2 across from there. 1, 3. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna say there. Oh, it's horrible. Don't worry if you're not that accurate. As long as you're close, you'll be fine. Shouldn't say that. Be as accurate as possible. Right, let's join them up. This is not going to go well on my iPad. It'd be so much easier with a ruler. Oh, I apologise. I'm just going to leave it because I'm not going to get any better than that. Use your graph to find an estimate for 700 grads in radians. So I'm going to go across 700 and read down. I'm using my ruler. Across 700, read down, or if it was over, I'm going to say 11. If you had like 11.5, or if you had 10.5, that's fine. If you had 10, I don't know. Well, mine is a little bit. No, I don't think you would have 10. I'd say 0.5 with a difference between 11. Okay, you'll be assessing the quality. Why are there so many OCWs in this one paper? Mr. and Mrs. Price received their electricity bill. The details are as follows. Present meter reading is 7,982 units. Previous meter reading is 6,629 units. Charge per unit is 19.3 pence per unit. VAT is at 5%. Find the total cost of electricity including VAT. Give your answer in pounds. Write your answer correct to nearest penny. It's very what tier is this? This is also off the foundation paper. You should be fine with this. So we're gonna work out how much electricity we use by just taking these two away. So first one, electricity used. It's gonna be, sorry if you can hear that. 6629. So we got 1353 units. There's motorbikes outside. So we got 1,353 units. Electricity used is just 19.3 pence per unit, so we just need to times that by 19.3 pence. So cost of electricity is going to be 1353 times on 19.3 pence. You could have put that back in. You could have put it in pounds right there if you wanted to. I kept in pence for now. I don't know why. So that gives me 26112.9p. We should know that there's 100 pence in a pound. So if I just divide that by 100, I get 261 pounds and 13 pence. Now we must add VAT, because VAT is added after. So we want to call this VAT. So you want 5% of 26113. So you can obviously times. You could do 0.05 times 261.13. You could use your percentage button. You could times it by 95% if you want to get the answer after. No, you wouldn't. You would times it by, because you're adding, aren't you? 1.05. So 13.06. So VAT is £13 and 6 pence. So cost plus VAT is going to be 261.13 times. Wait, I'm putting pounds on there. £13 and 6 pence, which gives me £274 and 19 pence. Very straightforward question. Very easy. Okay, another OCW, yay! People can choose to gift aid the amount of money that they donate to charity. This means that for every £10 donated with gift aid, the charity can claim an extra £2.50 from the government. Ooh, lovely, it's a quarter. I'm going to write that there to remind myself. £2.50 is a quarter of £10. A certain charity receives donations of £24,810 last year. Charity was able to claim gift aid on 1/3 of this amount. Calculate the extra amount of money that charity was able to claim from the government. This feels like a foundation question. No, this is a higher. Oh my gosh. Okay, so for every £10, they get £2.50. So that's a quarter. They just need 1/3 of it. So you just want to calculate 1/3 of £24,810, which is 8270. And they just want a quarter of it, and that's how much they would get. Quarter of 8270 cancel is 2060. I haven't done this OCW, I forgot. Nah. I would call the top one something like the amount of money gift aid can claim, and the second one is the extra money that they can claim. That doesn't make any sense, does it? That's it. This feels too easy. Hold on. Okay. Cumulative frequency diagram shows the house prices in two villages, Brynwyn and Melfac. Strange names. Are they real places? In December 2015, cumulative frequencies have been calculated as percentages of the total number of houses in each village. Okay, so the cumulative frequency probably going to be asked like the median and stuff like that, or the interquartile range, stuff like that. If you ever ask like questions where it's like explain why it could be different, just remember they're all grouped, so it's all estimating. They could all be like, for example, in this group, in this category here, they could all be up here, but you've assumed that we've spread them out evenly, stuff like that. There might not even be a question like that. I'm jumping to conclusions. Which village has the higher median? See, there we go. Gotta calculate our median. So luckily they do they both stop at 100? I feel like that one doesn't. Let's assume it does, because I feel like that might just be my iPad. I don't know. It looks like it would go up there, doesn't it? But oh no, it is. They're squares. Oh, I was looking at the cross. No, it does. Okay. So cumulative frequency, highest one is 100. So to find the median, which is half that, which is 50. So 50 is going to be here. So you're going to go across from 50 and read down from both of them. So I'm just going to draw a straight line to the other one. Straightest line possible that can be. So you want to read down from this mark and read down from this mark. So I think that's about 300. That's 350. So I don't know, 335. That one. Ooh. 175. That's probably a bit different to what yours is. But as long as you've got something around there. Which village was a high? I could work it out. I can't bother. Which village was the high and median house price? Well, what's that one? The dotted one is Malfuck. Give reason for your answer. Well, there's my reason right there. So, we put B 175. Mal is 335. What percentage of the houses in Malfuck cost less than 200,000? So you want to work out how many were less than 200,000 out of 100. So it's too much scribble, but I'm going to keep it on there because you guys have to keep it on there. So house prices is 200, wasn't it? Yes. So I'm going to go up from 200. My ruler, and Malcaf is the dot. We're doing Malcaf, me yet? Dotted one. Then I'm going to go across 10, 12, 14. So it's 14 out of 100. So that across there is 14. They're going up in twos, aren't they? So 14 out of 100. Obviously, as a percentage, that's 14%. You should know that one. Explain why it's not possible to use the diagram to decide which village has more houses costing less than 200. Well, exactly like what I said earlier. They could all be. It's estimated. They could, and they're grouped. So they could all be at the top of the group. They could all be down at the end of the group. It's not really accurate to say, especially because 200,000 is in a category. So you got 100, 200, 200, 300. You could have all of these up here. You could have all of these down here. It's not, and 200 is up. You could have had such different numbers. There's no space for me to write that. So, question 10. A pump is used to fill empty tanks with oil. It takes 27 minutes to fill 6 identical tanks when the flow rate is 5 litres per second. Calculate how long it will take to fill 8 of these tanks when the flow rate is 9 litres per second. Lots of people try to overcomplicate these questions. It's all about, the simple way is to just times it by 2 fractions. I'm going to try and explain it a little bit better than that though. So if it takes 27 minutes to fill 6 tanks, look at how many minutes it takes to fill 1. So divide that by 6. That should give you 4.5 minutes per tank. And if it's got a flow rate of 5 litres per second, you just want to, because the different flow rates, we times that by 5. We get 22.5. Oh, right. Don't ever do what I just did. Look at my equal signs. 27 divided by 6 doesn't equal 22.5, does it? That's horrible. I'm going to scroll that out. Sorry. Times that by 5, which is 22.5. So calculate how long it will take 8 of these tanks. So we've just whittled this down to 1. Now we want to times that by 8. And then because it's 9 litres, we want to divide that. So look how I've done divide times. Now I'm going to do times divide. So I've got 22.5 times it by our 8 new tanks, which is 180. And because it's 9 litres per second, I want to do 180 divided by our 9, which is 20. Quicker way would have been 27 times 8 over 6 times 5 over 9. That's like if you learn it that way, that's absolutely fine. This is a bit more of an explanation. Hopefully anyway. So it's 20. How long will it take to fill 8 of these tanks flow rate in 9, so it's 20 minutes. Because obviously you've got more tanks, but you've got higher litres per second. Okay, question 11. Bethan sold her house for $137,750. She lost 5% of the price she had paid for the house. How much had she paid? How much had she paid for the house? So this means, so she lost 5%. So she had 100% of her house. 100% was how much she paid for it, and now she's lost 5%. That leaves her with 95%. That means that 95% is 137,750. Now you could do that in non-calculator method, but that would take ages. I'd probably maybe divide by 5 somewhere, I don't know. But all you need to do is divide them. So take your amount, so 137,750, and just divide it by 95%. You could do that with the percentage button, 137,750, or you could put 0.95 and you get, obviously you need a higher number. So if you end up with 2, you press something wrong. I press something wrong all the time on calculator. So it's 145,000 pounds. It's not a nice pound sign. Okay, so work out what your percentage is now, and then just divide them. Sometimes they add amounts, so you end up with 105%. So you just still do the same process. You divide by here. Okay, question 12. Heather invests £900 for 3 years at 2% per annum compound interest. Calculate value of investment at the end of 3 years. Give your answer correct to the nearest penny. Compound interest, same rules for all most compound interest questions. They recently like to do double compound interest, so where they've got it's invested this much, this percentage for so many years, then this much and this much for this so many years. They've liked to do that in recent years, but this is a bog standard one. So we start with 100% again, like in the previous one. Interest means you gain money, so we add 2% each year. So 100% add 2% is 102%. With compound interest, we like to work with decimals, so 102% is 1.02. So this is our multiplier. This is what we're going to multiply by. So we have £900. I mean, it's only 3 years, you could have done it a long way, but that's effort. So we want to times that by our multiplier, and there's always to a power of something, and that's to the power of how many years. So 3 years, that means to the power of 3, and that's it. It stays the same. You just find your multiplier. This is your amount that you start with, and then this is how many years. And put that into your calculator, and you get 9550872. Obviously, you can't have that as many. And it also asks, give your answers correct to the nearest penny. So penny is here. Shouldn't put a dot because that looks like a decimal. So 955.07 rounds up, so 9. So £900, sticking in a bank for 3 years, you gain £55 and 9 pence. Just sitting there, not doing anything. Okay, the formula P equals 2.65n minus C over D is used to calculate the profit a company makes in pounds when selling a particular item it manufactures. N, number of items sold. C, fixed manufacturing cost, so that doesn't change. D is the tax adjusted rate. When the company sold 800, so N is 8,000, sorry. It made a profit, it's giving us P, profit of 14160. Do a bit of jiggling around here. And the tax adjusted rate was 1.25, so D is 1.25, we got fined. C of me. Calculate the fixed manufacturing cost, yes, we're calculating C. Stick all those numbers into your formula. So instead of P equals 2.65n, that means times by n, minus C over D. Replace those letters with the numbers. So we've got P, we've got 14160, so we've got 2.65 times n, they're attached, that means this times. Take away C, which we do not know, all over D, which is 1.25. This is just all about rearranging now, so you end up with C. So it's like rearranging formulas. Now, I've written massive, so I don't have any room. Or you could do that on a piece of paper. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this amount and times it by 1.25. So if you times both sides by 1.25, it eliminates this 1.25. So I'm going to do 14,160 times 1.25. And that gets me 17700 is the rest. Oh look, I haven't got in a room again. Don't name, do I? Just write smaller, shouldn't I? Times 8,000, take away C. So you could literally, if we work that out, what is 2.65 times 8,000? I didn't do that in there. Times 8,000. So it's 20, so 7700, 21,200, take away C. So 21,200, take away something, is 17,700. So to find out C, we can just take those away. We're basically swapping 17,700 with C. Simple rearranging formula. We swap C with 17700. Simple anything. So if you did like 10 take away what is 4, you know that it's just 10 take away 4 is 6. So if we just take those two away, so that's 350. Oh, and that is our fixed manufacturing cost. I feel like they should have given me more room, or maybe I just wrote too big. Okay, let's hope this is not a bearing question. No. Vertical flagpole AB, right, is a height of 40 meters. I hate it when they don't write it on there because I normally forget. The points B, C and D lie on the level ground, and BCD is a straight line, clearly. Point C is 20 meters from, see they've labelled that one, based from the flagpole. The angle of elevation of the top of the flagpole from D, so from A to D, that angle of elevation, so we're going up, so it's 51 degrees. What have we got to do? Calculate some sort of length. How far apart are points C and D? Ooh, a bit of trigonometry, lovely. So what I'm going to do is use the whole triangle. We highlighted whole triangle. So if I work out this whole bottom length, and I can just take 20 away to work out. Ooh, that's not nice. Maybe do that for you. Okay, so this is basically X. I'm finding the whole length. I know that's 20, but we want this extra bit here. So once I found X, I can just take away 20 to find CD. Right, trigonometry. SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA. So write them up like that so you know that in the fraction that O and A and O goes on top. So label step 1, label your sides. So I only label 2 because otherwise you'll get confused. See how this hypotenuse has nothing there. It's not labelled X or a number, so don't label it because you might get confused choosing your ratio. So the bottom one, that is adjacent to my angle. It's next to my angle. It's in between the angle and the right angle, so that is my adjacent. 40 is opposite. See how it's directly opposite the angle. So 40 is O. O and A, the only ones with O and A is TOA. So tan of the angle is O over A. So substitute what you have in. Tan of the angle, do I have the angle? Yes, it's 51. Is O, do I have O? Yes, that's 40. Over A, do I have A? No, that's X. Right, substitute it in. So step 1 was label. Step 2, choose which one you're doing. SOHCAHTOA. Step 3, substitute that in. Step 4 is now to just solve. Now, when I normally teach this, if I say X is on top, you've got a times. But X is not on top, therefore we're dividing. So X is going to be this number here, always the number first before your SOHCAH or TOA, because a lot of people forget to close their brackets. So 40, so if X is on top, we times, it's not on top, so we're dividing by our tan of 51. Okay, so X, put that in your calculator, and we get 32.4 meters. Not finished. You'd lose a mark if you stopped there. Don't forget to go back. What's the question asking me? It's actually asking me for CD. All you need to do is take away 20. You would have lost a mark for not taking away 20. So C to D, or just CD. Oh, no, I'm just going to put CD because that's messy. CD is going to be 32.4 meters. Take away 20 meters, which is 12.4 meters. So the distance between C and D is 12.4 meters. quite straightforward. Question 5? No, it's not question 5, is it? Question 15. Okay, bit of standard form. Calculate 3.7 times 10 to the power 2 plus 4.1 times 10 to the power 4. Give your answer in standard form. Now, this is on a calculator paper. You could just, what if I just put in my calculator 3.7 times 10 to the power 2, close my bracket, literally as it is, just put it in your calculator. If it's not, I'll show you the way it's not a calculator, it's probably easier, isn't it? To the power of 4, okay, it doesn't give you in standard form, that's a little bit nicer. So if it wasn't in standard form, when you're adding, if it wasn't calculator, sorry, if when you're adding and subtracting, always take it out of standard form, add and subtract it, put it back into standard form. So 3.7 times 10 to the power 2 is 3, 1, 2, so because we've got 2 numbers after the decimal. And 4.1 times 10 to the power 4 is 4, and then 4 numbers. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And we just add those together, so 4, 1, 3, 7, 0. That's what came up on my calculator. Okay, I didn't even need to do that calculator. Probably is quicker if I just did that. Put that back into standard form. Don't forget we need it to look like one of these. So we got 4.137, don't put a 0, times 10. How many numbers after the first? How many did I move my decimal? 1, 2, 3, 4. To the power 4. Okay. B. An estimate for the number of cells in a human body can be found by dividing the average volume of a human body, so dividing this by the average cell number, by the average volume of average volume of a human cell. Can't even read. So doing this divided by this. Again, I've got my calculator, so use it. Use the above information to calculate an estimate for the number of cells in a human body. Give your answer standard form correct. 3 significant figures. Seems easy before now. Oh, notice this is in centimeters cubed. This is in meters cubed. So you can either change it. I'm going to change it first. I'm not even going to give you a choice. So I'm going to change the top one just because meters into centimeters. You're going bigger numbers, so I don't want it to go smaller. This is second one's already smaller, so I want to go bigger. So we know, very big misconception here, this 100 centimeters in 1 meter. A lot of you would just times it by 100 and work with that. However, 100 centimeters cubed is not 1 meters cubed, because 100 centimeters cubed means 100 times 100 times 100. So all it is, we need to times it by, is 100 cubed. Okay, so if it was area and squared, you would times by 100 squared, 100 times 100. But we're working with cubes, so you need to do 100 times 100 times 100. Because you've got 3 lengths, multiplied makes a volume. That's why it's to the power 3. So 0.07 times 100 cubed is 7. How many zeros? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 70,000. I'm just going to keep that as that, and divide that by 6.8 times 10 to the minus 10. So we've got both in centimeters now. Okay, calculator gives me in standard form 1.03 times 10 to the power of 14, and that's 3 significant figures. Lovely. Okay, moving on. Question 14. Wood pulp is used to make paper. In 2012, Brazil produced 14 million tons of wood pulp. In each of the next 3 years, Brazil's production of wood pulp increased by 1.7% of the previous year's production. After 2015, it is expected that production of wood pulp will increase by 2% of each previous year's production. So this is compound interest again, and like I said earlier, this is very similar to the current years, because this is a paper from quite a while ago. It's from June 2016. The papers have changed a bit from that, but this is very similar to a recent year. They like the compound interest now, where it's like in two steps. So we've got 14 million. Million has 6 zeros, so 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And what are we doing? Increasing by 1.7%. So that's add 100 to it, because we've got 100%, which would be 1.017. And that is how many years? 3 years. So we're doing that to the power of 3. So we've got a multiplier, 1.017, because we've got 100%, add 1.7% is 101.7%. That as a decimal is 1.017. So to the power of 3 gives me a lovely number. 1's 4, 7, 2, 6, 2, 6.78. Lovely. After 2015, it's expected the production of wood pulp will increase by 2% of each previous year's production. So now we've got our new 100%, add our 2%, 102%. Decimal 1.02. So we've got a multiplier. So we use this lovely number 26206.78. Dig our amount, times it by a multiplier to the power of how many years? Oh, how many years? Oh, 2015 to 2017. Oh, you have to work that out. It's 2 years. Which is 15321.145.5. There are some lovely numbers there. I'd probably make a mistake and write something wrong or backwards. Okay. Question 17. How many more have we got? Oh, loads. Okay. Last month, Salm? I don't know. Used his car to travel 1,000 miles, correct to the nearest 100 miles. Ooh, a bounds question. He used 26 gallons of petrol, correct to the nearest gallon. Calculate the least and greatest possible value for the number of miles travelled per gallon by this car last month. Give your answer correct to 1 decimal place. Okay, so we want the calculate the least and possible, the least and the greatest possible. Oh, okay. So if we do, should we do the miles? I'm gonna put miles at the top because minimum of your miles. If you don't know how to do, because obviously 1,000 correct to the nearest 100 miles. Always just half what the correct is, so 50. For the minimum, take it away. For the high one, add it on. So 1,000 take away 50 is 950, and for the maximum higher one, we just add it on. So we've got 1050. So those are our upper and lower bounds of miles. Now our gallons. We've got 26 correct to the nearest gallon. So 1 gallon, half it, a half. So for our minimum, we want to take that away. So 26 take away a half is 25 and a half. And our maximum, we want to add it on. So 26 and a half. Calculate the least and greatest possible values for the number of miles travelled per gallon. Now, you wouldn't do for the least one. You wouldn't do the lowest amount of miles divided by the lowest amount of gallons. You want to get a lower number than that, so you want to divide it by a higher one. So we're actually crisscrossing and dividing each one by this. So for our lower one, we would take the lowest amount of miles, so 950, and we share that between 26.5, and we get 35.8 miles per gallon. Miles per gallon, sure. For the high one, we take the biggest amount of miles you could do and the smallest amount of gallons, and you get 41.2 miles per gallon. So he could have gone anywhere between 35 miles per gallon and 41 miles per gallon. Didn't have to do anything else, do we? Correct your answer correct in 1 decimal place, done. No space at the bottom, but oh look, I even put MPG right. Lovely. Okay, the following group frequency table shows the height in centimetres of pupils in Year 7 class. So we got all those groups, the frequency, and we got frequency density. Lovely. So to work out your frequency density, so frequency density, FD, is going to be your frequency divided by the width. Because with these widths, as you can see, they're different. So from 100 to 110, that's a difference of 10. From 100 to 115, that's only a difference of 5. So for frequency density diagrams, they're like bar charts, but with all different widths. The bars are different widths. So from 115 to 120, again, that's 5. Next one is 10, and next one is 20. So all we need to do is take our frequency, so for like the top one, they did 4 frequency, divided by 10, the width, to get 0.4. So for the next one, we do our 9 frequency, divided by 5, which is the width, so 9 divided by 5 is 1.8. Next one they did 13 divided by 5, so 13 divided by 5, which is 2.6. Next one they did 5 divided by 10, because here's 5, here's 10, so 0.5. And the bottom one they did 4 divided by 20, because the frequency is 4, class width is 20, so that gives me 0.2. So I filled out my frequency density graph, that's table, sorry, that is 3 marks. Now your histogram, or your frequency density diagram, so they're like bar charts, but with different widths. So keep your widths of these, so from 100 to 110, you just go to 0.4. So from 100 to 110, each one is 1. 0.1, isn't it? 1. Let me zoom in a little bit. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that one's going to be there. You don't have to colour them in. This, you can if you want to. I don't know. So the next one is 110 to 115. So that's where my borders are going to be. I'm going to go up to 1.8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What was it? 115, wasn't it? Yeah. Oop. Next one was 115 to 120, and it goes to 2.6. So 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why am I not using my ruler? Don't know. Next one, 120 to 130 is 0.5. And then last one is 130 to 150, 0.2. So that's just a nice little one there. Okay, so bar chart, different widths. Very straightforward. Got my 3 marks on. Or was it 3 marks for the whole and the histogram? Oh, lovely. Okay, ooh, lovely. This looks complicated. 2 solid identical spheres are attached to the ends of a solid cylinder, as shown below. Lovely. The radius r of each sphere is the same as the radius of the cylinder. So the radius of the sphere is the same as the radius of the cylinder. So this r is the same as this r. The length of the cylinder, okay, so this length here is 9r. The volume of the whole object, is 3,340 centimeters cubed. What is the length of x? The whole length. Okay, so this is 9r. Then we've got another 1r, another 1r, another 1r, another 1r. So that's r, that's r, that's 9r, that's r 9r, that's 9r. So x is actually 9, 10, 11, 12, 13r. Ooh, if we find out the value of r, we just times by 13 and get x. I feel like that's what we have to do. Okay, you need to know 2 things. There's the volume of a cylinder, which is kind of given you in the front of the formula booklet, because they give you a volume of a prism, which is the area of the cross section, so that means the area of the face, times the length. So the volume of a cylinder, that's the, this bit. So the area of the face, so that means an area of a circle, so we know that's pi r squared, and then times that by our length. And the length of the cylinder is 9r. Ooh, lovely. That's just 9 pi r cubed, just to be more specific. A volume of a sphere. Now this, you don't have to remember. This will be given at the front of the formula booklet. I know this wasn't in here, so just quick Google, and it will tell you that it's 4/3 pi r cubed. You might see it as 4 pi r cubed over 3. Oh, there's also 2 of them. Ooh, lovely. So that's 8/3 pi r cubed. Nice. So those 2 added is 3,340. So we got 9 pi r cubed plus 8/3 pi r cubed is 3,340. Excellent. Now I'm going to take out pi. Then I can take away their numbers, and then I should just be left with r. Or r cubed, and then I just cube root it. So we've got 9 and 8/3. Should we add those together? No, we could just add them together now and then take out pi. Yeah, let's just add them. So 9 and 8/3 is going to be 11 and 2/3. You could just do that on your calculator really quickly if you didn't know how to do that. Pi r cubed. Because we've got pi r cubed and pi r cubed, we can just add those two numbers. So that gives me 3340. So what I'm going to do is take our 3340, divide it by our 11 and 2/3. That leaves me with pi r cubed. So I'm going to do 334. Okay, it's turned off. We're going to do 3340 divided by 11. Oops. Okay, my calculator is spazzing out. Divided by 11 and 2/3, which is 286.28 blah 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 blah. I'm just going to keep my calculator. Then I divide by pi. Pi is just a number, so just divide it by pi. I'm going to use the pi button, so answer divided by pi gives me 91.12 blah 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 blah. Now, if I've got r cubed to find r, I just need to cube root. So r is cube root of 91. Oh, shame it's not. So I'm going to cube root my answer, which gives me 4.5, or it's 4.5000423356, but I'm just going to keep it as 4.5. So r is 4.5 centimeters. Probably lose some marks if you don't now use that to find x. Don't forget earlier, like I said, x is 13r. So x equals 13 times r. So we just need to do 13 times 4.5, which is 58.5 centimeters. That was a nice juicy one. So what we did, volume of a cylinder, which you should know is area of the face times the length. So area of a circle times the length, which was 9r. Then we've got the sphere, which is 4/3 pi r cubed, and we've got 2 of them, so don't forget that. You've got 2 of them. You might have a little bit of a different answer if you didn't times it by 2. It could have been a big mistake there. Add those together, and we've already got the combined volume, which is 3340. I divided by 11 and 2/3, divided by pi, cube root, found r, and then times it by 13. Lovely jubbly. Well, that's it.